for those of you that don't know me, my name's Sommer Tucker. And honestly, like, before I embarked on what many of you guys are doing, whether you're refocusing or you just came out of like a momentum goal, a momentum like victory, so to speak, with the 5-day challenge, or you're setting out fresh, like before challenge groups, see, most people think they can make those prejudgments and be like, she's always had it together. When really I was always that person that walked past the mirror and like, do you know what I mean? Like, did any of you guys feel that way? You walk past the mirror and you're like, Liz, I know you can relate to me. Yeah, exactly. You're just like, and I grew up kind of around that, just kind of being really hard on myself. I would, people called me big boned. I was the bigger sister. My sister was really tiny. I looked at pizza, I gained weight. She could eat a whole pizza. Do you know what I mean? And so I grew up very hard on myself, doing chubby checks, and just never really feeling, good in my skin, and it affected every area of my life. I cried in the closet before a date night, and I'll just never forget when I was sitting and rocking my 10-month-old at the time, and she was our second child, and I remember looking down and just started crying. I was like, is this like really what I'm gonna pass on? Right? I have to figure out something different. I watched my mom do it, and watched my grandmother. It's somewhere it has to stop. And it was at that second, even as a personal trainer, see, most people don't realize that, as a personal trainer, I was a big failure, a big fake. I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I have to do something different. And that's when I surrendered. I joined a challenge group. And I stepped into it, and in about 90 days, it took 9 days. I know we have 21 days, we have 30 days now, but it took about 90 days of grace and pushing the now button and tripping and falling and being surrounded by people just like you, women that are moving in a positive direction, and men that aren't perfect, but wanting to improve. And when Chad stepped out of that jet, he was in the Marine Corps. For the first time in my life, I don't know if you remember this, Liz, for the first time in my life, I felt good in my skin. Like I couldn't wait for him to wrap his arms around me, whereas that's used to be something I would kind of, don't touch me. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't wait to get him home, if I'm just being honest. Like, how fast could we get the kids to nap time? You know what I mean? And so it sounds kind of trivial, but it changed everything in my life. It was that 90 days. It was the same thing that we want to teach you, the same type of environment, the same support system that absolutely, after studying an hours and hours, you would have thought I was going to be a pre-med major with what I studied in personal training. Out through all of that, teaching boot camps and all the certifications I had, it was this that actually built my foundation for me to actually feel worthy and good in my skin and look in the mirror and feel confident and strong. So I know something very similar happened to Dani. Dani, actually, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Dani, for you to step in, but Dani right now is up for the next phase of the Beachbody Challenge, actually. And so I really want you to lean in and listen to her story, because it's so powerful that Beachbody's highlighting her, and she's probably going to end up on that stage, and then we're all going to cry. So, all right, girl.
Hey, my name is Dani Webb, for those of you that don't know me. I've been doing this for about 4.5 years with Sommer. And, prior to plugging into these challenge groups I was up and down dieting. I was like every other week, something was new and looked good. So I'd try it and it didn't work. And, my version of it didn't work was I'd give it a few days and I don't see results. So I just keep going. And I was constantly up and down. And somewhere along the way, we got Insanity. We ordered it from Beachbody, and I got Sommer. She invited me to a challenge group. And since plugging into the challenge groups, now 4.5 years after, I've lost 40 pounds. I've kept it off. I am a trainer, and I inspire others to do the same. And it's just changed my life, around completely. I've actually, stopped smoking. I stopped drinking. And I'm just a better role model to my kids. And, I have to say that it goes back to the accountability that we get and the motivation that we get in the groups that we start, whether it's actually the first group that I did with Sommer was a 10-day challenge group. And it was a 10-day, and then she rolled me into a 30 and then a 60. And we just locked arms and kept going from there. So now 4.5 years later, I'm still doing it. I'm still plugging in every day, and I'm just helping others do what it took me forever to finally find this missing piece of the puzzle. This is it's not a yo-yo diet. It's not a half in, half out. And I just want to help other people to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That 40 pounds that you've been battling with for anywhere from 3 months to 30 years, you can get it off. You just follow the recipe.
Yeah.
And that's what these challenge groups are so amazing, because we just lock arms. And I like to refer to it as the AA for health and nutrition.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's our meeting.
I love that. I love that. Would you do me a favor? I'm going to bounce it over to Liz. Do you happen anywhere on your computer, Dani, do you happen to have a before and after that you could screen share after Liz shares? If not, I know I didn't ask you to do that, but I think it'd be cool for people to kind of see that, yeah. So while she's doing that, Liz was my stubborn friend. I'm just going to go ahead and throw her under the bus right now on that one, and that's okay, because I was stubborn. I like Dani did it the way that I wish I would have done it. She like surrendered, followed the recipe, became a trainer. I was stubborn. I was like, no, I'm going to be the trainer. I'll train myself. I don't need nobody else. You know what I mean? Like, and so she built on it that way. But Liz, it's probably why Liz and I attracted to each other so much. We have something in common. It's called being stubborn. Anybody else here to struggle with stubbornism? It's like a stubbornism. So Liz, go ahead, share your story, girl.
Okay. Well, so, my whole life, I played sports. I think I had a very healthy upbringing. It wasn't until after probably, 2007, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, and it sort of rocked my world. And then fast forward to having kids and the way that impacted me. And really all of this came to a head for me right after I had my second baby, James. And Summer's right. She lived 2 houses down from me in North Carolina, and I would run past her house every day. And because I was training for a half marathon, and I was like super in shape. I did not need these crazy programs she had and that silly shake and whatever. And I totally had it under control, and I didn't need nobody. And we were really good friends. I was like, that's your thing, girl. You just go get on with your bad self, and I'm going to do my thing over here. And it took me 5 years to pick up my phone and call her and be like, dear God, Summers, tell me what to do, and I will flipping do it, because just nothing worked. And you guys, like, I wasn't a trainer, but I was a college athlete. But I think that was also part of it. Was I was used to just going to a practice and having somebody tell me what to do. It was like I never had to actually plan a workout or, I did lower body this day. What the hell do I do tomorrow? Sorry, excuse me. What the heck do I do tomorrow? And it was like I just needed someone to give me something that was effective and efficient and like no thought required, because my baby was 6 months old. I had 50 pounds to lose, and he was getting up 4 times a night until he was 14 months old, actually, and only napping 45 minutes a day. And Addison was gone all the time, and I couldn't even think straight. Like that whole first year is such a blur. And I called her and I was like, I trust you. Just like lay it out. Tell me what to do. She's like, drink this shake, follow this program, check into this group. I was like, all right.
That's it. Wait, we can all log off. Y'all have a good night. I'm just kidding. But like, seriously, she just gave you the recipe. Like that is what she just told you is exactly what I said. She's like, what else? I'm like, nope, that's it. That's all I want you to do. I want you to drink the shake. I want you to push play on this program. And I want you to check in the group every single day. That's it. She's like, what else? That's it. That's it.
And so I did. I did it. I trusted the process, which I think is important. And I think Dani's going to talk about that too. I trusted the process, and I just woke up every day and I was like, Summer said to do this. I'm going to do it. And in 5.5 months, I lost that 50 pounds. And it was like, it felt almost like one day I woke up and it was gone. Like the whole transformation was so, like, it was just done right. You know what I mean? Like every day was like these little victories that I celebrated and that we celebrated in the group and that people were cheering me on for. And it was like as simple as, not ordering a pizza on a Friday night, because that was my deployment coping skill,
and your wine.
Oh, my wine. Yeah. Like it was, so, that's my story. And anyway, all I wanted was to be able to play with my kids. And that was what I told Sommer, was that I went to a playground with Owen, and he wanted to play soccer with me, and I had to sit down after 5 minutes, and like the look of disappointment on his face, like I still cry when I think about it, because I just will never, it was the moment when I was like, I cannot be this mom anymore. Like this isn't going to fly. And so, so I just Yeah, I kept it simple, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But
yeah, no, that's really good. I'd love for you to do the same too, Liz, if you have a before and after.
I have it. I'll pull it up.
But the thing is that you just heard right there, and I had this plan to talk a little later before I toss it over to Tarah here in a second. But, you know, she just hit on something that I really want you guys to think about going into Monday as you really start. Just chew on this over the weekend. Write it down. Let it go. Like, why are you here? You know what I mean? Like you heard right. It's so much bigger than a number on the scale, you know, and you have to allow yourself to feel that and get to that place where you're like, I hate that. You know, I heard this really good sermon the other day that talked about like when you get to that place, like enough, like I hate, like we're not supposed to hate, but when you get to that place, like I hate that feeling, that's where change actually comes from. You know what I mean? When you allow yourself to go there. So Liz had that moment, you know what I mean? I had that moment looking at the child, like at Riley, I was like, I hate this feeling. I can't pass this on. I hate avoiding Chad's touch. I hate the bedroom. You know what I mean? It was like, Chad, you go to bed first. I'll be in a little bit. You fall asleep. Do you know what I mean? Like I did not want in that situation. And when you have to, where are you at right now? So that where you're at right now, allowing yourself to go there has to be deep enough that it gets you, and Danny's going to talk about that, it gets you to do things even though you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? It's what pushes you out of bed at 5 instead of 5:30. It's what makes you work out right after work instead of doing anything else. It's what makes you work out on a Saturday morning instead of sitting around and having mimosas. Can anybody tell what my favorite thing to do on a Saturday is? Drink mimosas. But Tarah, I'm going to hand this over to you because Tarah has blown me away in the short time that I've known her and I've watched her. And so I want you guys to hear. So you heard some longer length stories, you know, 2.5 years, 4 years. Tarah, can you tell them a little bit about where you're at?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. I have been doing challenge groups just since September of 2016. So about 7 months for me. And I had a friend who had started earlier in the year, and she was doing a fabulous job. And she was telling me about how her weight loss was going, and I was super excited for her. I'd always had a struggle with my weight. We were college roommates, and I'd always been a heavier kid. Was really heavy all through high school and through college. And I had lost weight before. I had done other programs. I was a big Weight Watchers person, and I actually lost 70 pounds twice and then gained it all back. So I was listening to how well she was doing. She was talking about how this was different. We had done programs before in the past, and I thought, yeah, I know, but I don't really think I want to drink a shake. I'm not sure that that's for me. But yeah, I'm glad that you're doing it. And then she decided to become a coach. And as soon as she said that she was going to be a coach, I was like, wow, okay, she really is into this. And I said, okay, I'll be your first challenger. And I just kind of jumped in. I knew it was working for her and that she was loving it. And I thought, okay, it's working for her. It's clear that this works. It's going to work for me. And, when we talk about the things you were feeling, I was embarrassed when I had to go to the park or the pool, places where you couldn't really cover up. And I was depressed when I saw myself in the mirror, like, oh, who is this person? This isn't what I want to look like. And I was jealous of all the people that I would see running and being physically active because I had that in the past. And I thought, I just don't feel like I can ever get back there again. But when she told me how she was doing, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try. So I jumped all in. I loved the challenge groups. I still love the challenge group. It's been 7 months and I've lost almost 55 pounds. And I am feeling super confident. I am happy when I look in the mirror. I have a closet full of clothes that fit again. We're going to go to the beach this October, and I'm super jazzed about playing with the kids, and I'm not going to be wearing a giant cover-up. And it's because of this. These challenge groups have been the key, like being able to check in and have people cheer me on and looking at what other people did today and thinking, I just did this week. Like, oh, hey, I've never tried Greek yogurt with apples and cinnamon instead of with berries. Just getting new ideas from people every day. I love it. And it's great. And it does work. And it will work for you too.
That is awesome. I love, like, so listen to the short amount of time. See, some of us think, like, she thought never could it ever. That'll never happen to me. That'll never happen to me, you know? And I think, like, and Dani and I were talking on the way home. I was headed home from gymnastics yesterday, and we were chatting on the phone, and we were kind of digging in, like, well, Dani, when did it change for you? And that's really what I wanted her. She's like, when I went all in. I was like, okay, let's talk about that. Like, that's her tip for you guys. And I'm going to hand it over to her. Hopefully she can share the screen of her before and after, just so you can see the enormity of it. But I want you guys, if you're somewhere sitting down, I really do. I want to challenge you. Maybe some of you haven't took notes since college or high school or something like that. I get it. I know that was me long before I started coaching and stuff like that. But I want you to kind of write down, take a couple nuggets. Don't get overwhelmed with the whole thing, but write down some notes and highlight like 1 or 2 nuggets that you can put into action immediately. So Dani, go ahead and tell them a little bit, like, kind of your tip, what you were sharing with me on the phone. I was like, man, why couldn't we be on the webinar right now?
You know, basically what we were talking about yesterday was, you know, as I said earlier, for 4.5 years, we've been doing this. And for like the first 2.5, I was like, you know, half in, half out. And I was wondering, you know, I had lost that initial 20, 25 pounds, but I like plateaued. And I was wondering, why am I not getting these results? Well, because 3 to 4 days a week I was partying, and 3 to 4 days a week I was working out. So I was like half in, half out. And I never fully committed. I mean, I fully committed for 10 days, and then my 10 days was up, and then I went right back to what I was doing, or not right back to, but I kind of landslided backwards a little bit. And so I had gotten results initially, and I was okay with that. And you know, bottom line, Chris and I were tired of waking up the next morning and, you know, having that conviction coming over us going, gosh, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? You know, beating ourselves up going, we can be so much better than this. And for us, it went down a little bit different path. I mean, we chose the completely, you know, we were offered to go into this test group, and it was 100% in. You had to be 100% in for 60 days. And Chris and I looked at each other and we were like, this is exactly what we need. Like, this is that proverbial tap on the shoulder going, hey, dumbass, this is you. Okay, wake up. Okay. So it's been long enough. You've been in and out. And when are you just going to jump in the pool, you know? So we looked at each other, and really it wasn't even a question. It was just like you know, God was like, just, okay, this is it. So we did. We went all in for 60 days. And that was when everything shifted. Everything shifted. And it's been almost 2 years, you know, it's close to 2 years, well, year and a half, that we did it, going on 2 years. And we changed our entire mindset. You know, like, if you really truly want results, not the results that are going to get you into that dress for the party in 2 weeks, but the results that are going to keep you in that dress next year for the same party, and the year after that, and the year after that, then you have to keep doing the next best thing. And for us, we were just better people with, you know, with disciplining ourselves 100%. And that's what it took, that all in mentality, you know. And just because we went all in, trust me, I love tacos. I love Oreos. We just do it in moderation. You know what I mean? Like, those are, you know, if I run a 13-mile run, you're darn straight I'm going to eat 5 Oreos because I deserve it, but I'm not going to do it for the next 5 days, you know? But something had to give. And it was that was my mental breaking point, along with my husband, where we were ready to take it to the next level and just keep going forward. You know?
Yeah. You know, I hope what you guys are kind of hearing in that is that, there was a progression along it. And that whole time they kept staying surrounded, but asking themselves, what could I improve on? What can I improve on? And your mindset starts to shift to a point where you go, whoop, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, you have to place yourself in an environment to have the chance to do that. Do you know what I mean? Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we wouldn't have stayed plugged in, then we would have never gotten that opportunity to go one step farther. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's always people around, you know, hey, you're doing so awesome. You look great, you know, and there's 3 sides to every story. There's his, hers, and the wall. So you know what you're putting out there on social media, you know what's going on in your home, and you know what people think, and yeah, you lost all this weight, but in my mind, I was still looking at the reflection walking by the window and walking by the mirror, and I'm going, gosh, I could be so much better than this. I could be so much better than this. I just need to discipline myself. Yeah. And that's what it was. It was just. Yeah,
you knew you weren't being the best version of yourself. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think we have to ask ourselves. I'll never forget this kind of how this like totally weaves into what I know Liz is going to share with you. It is exactly what happened to me, and we go through these things. It's why we stay surrounded. But I remember when Liz jumped in, she's like, just tell me what to do. I told her what to do, and I was in a group, and I was kind of in that, like, I was going through stress. We were probably drinking you have to understand, we lived in Palm Springs, California, in a house that kind of felt like a resort, had a fresh orange tree outside, it's really like fresh margaritas, like on Thursday, sure. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it got like and that's a habit you can start to get into, right? And so like staying surrounded, and when Liz jumped in, and I watch, I'm just like you guys in a challenge group. You guys are pushing me and challenging me, and I'm getting ideas from you just as much as you're from me. And Liz started sharing this, how simple she had kept it with a journal. And I was like, maybe I'll try that. Do you know? And literally that is what brought me back. I have before and after pictures of just implementing what Liz is about to share with you guys. That took me from I feel good to, wow, this is to the Dani. This is the best version of Sommer right now. You know what I mean? And you can't really put a price tag on it. So Liz, will you share with everybody what?
I was going to say, when do you want me to screen share?
Oh yeah, you want to do it right now?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were doing that with
you. Can you do it from your side, or is that only something I can do? Like, can you see it at the bottom?
Can do it. I have the share screen.
See that thing that says screen share down there?
Yeah.
Share screen. Push that, and then you should get some options that come up.
Whoa. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
How long ago was this?
This was my initial. Like, those were my initials, like 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
That was, yeah.
Okay.
All my glory.
Okay, where's the other one? So I can only see your back picture right now, the back of you.
Okay, that's my back. Original. Can you see that one?
No, I still just see your back, unless, Liz, can you see more than just the back?
No, I can only see your back. So,
can you see that front?
No, are you seeing it?
No.
Wait, no.
No. All right. Shoot. I could probably find it on my phone or something like that and then show it.
Yeah.
You want me to go into?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay. You can keep trying to figure it out, but Liz can talk, And
Dani, just interrupt me if you find it and share it.
No. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, so my whole mantra from the very beginning was like, I gotta keep it simple. Because Addison was traveling all the time and had the 2 kids, and I was living in Hawaii, which I can tell I relate to Sommer's perma vacation mode. And so I knew how easily it would be to get tempted by, stopping at these like boardwalk, beach walk places and grab sandwiches on day, whatever. Anyway, so I have 3 tips for you guys for keeping it simple. Okay. And the first one, for those of you that were in the 5-day group, you probably heard me share about shopping for food that didn't even have a nutrition label. Like I was like, I'm not even gonna get confused about like what's in what. It doesn't, like, I want to look for food that's whole food. And like, if it has a nutritional label, it's got less than 5 ingredients and I know what all of them are. And so I started with that. And you guys, when I say like, I kept it simple, I'm not even joking. There were days when my lunch was like boar's head, ham roll-ups, pineapple, carrots, and hummus. Like it was like the kind of a random lunch. Like I don't think I ever would have eaten a lunch like that before all of this. But it was like in the plan and I felt good about it and it was so easy. And so there were days when that was my lunch.
So wait, let's talk about that because I really want you guys to learn from this. Okay. Some of us stress so much about meal planning. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a planner. So when I started out, I wrote everything I wrote 3 options. So I bought 3 options for every meal and snack for the week. And I just rotated what I was eating. Okay. And that was easy for me until life got crazy. And I ran out of the food. And then what I was going to do, or Chad came home and he ate the chicken that I was supposed to have for that meal. And so that could throw things crazy, right? So when I was like out of routine kind of, and Liz taught me this, I was like, okay, so this might be an easy place for you to start instead of sitting down and meal planning everything. Do you know what I mean? Like that might be your jam or it might not. If that overwhelms you, start with what Liz just shared.
And I have a couple, and I can expand on that a tiny bit if you give me a minute to. So I listened to this podcast in the very beginning by Chalene Johnson, and in it she talked about like the tips that the world's healthiest, longest living people had in common. Okay. And one of the things that they all said was, and Sommer will tell you, like, I love to cook. I am totally a foodie. I love creative meals. If you told me I had to eat baked chicken and steamed broccoli every day, I would punch you in the face. And I'm a really nice person, I promise. That would just make me really mad. She said, they recommended choose 3 to 5 snacks that are your staples. Choose 3 to 5 lunches that are your staple go-to lunches. Choose 2 to 4 staple dinners that are your staple, that like are on the menu every week. I mean, maybe not every week for your whole life, but like in the beginning. And then, for me, since I love to cook, then I would plan 1 to 2 evenings a week when I knew Addison would be home. When I knew James had preschool and I could actually make it to the grocery and get it done. And I would get a little creative, like Friday nights, like I would have a glass of wine and I would make a really fun meal, usually that had leftovers that I could freeze or have on Monday. And that was my other tip, is make at least 2 things on the weekend that you can like eat off of during the week as you need to, or freeze half of and save it for the following week. But Summer's right. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. Like don't feel bad about eating some Boar's Head ham roll-ups. Like that's still great protein and you're doing awesome. And then the other thing that I did, because when I first started, we didn't have 21 Day Fix didn't even exist. We didn't have a 21 Day Fit tracker, or like, I don't even think My Fitness Pal was around. Like those things were not available the way that they are now. And there's 8,000 of them, I feel like. And for my people, I usually recommend the 21 Day Fit Tracker because that's just the framework most people are using. But I still do this every day. But at the time, all I had was a pen and a paper. And so I just wrote down literally every single thing I put into my mouth. I kept a notepad by my fridge and my pantry. And I would write it, whatever went in my mouth went on that piece of paper. And I made myself write it down, because I will tell you that is accountability in and of itself. Because I was like, do I really want to write this down? And then do I really want to share it tonight? But it was also like, it was a good like mindfulness exercise, because I would find myself standing in front of my pantry or my fridge and I'd be like, wait a minute, what have I eaten today? And I could turn around and look at what I'd eaten and be like, I'm not hungry. I've had plenty to eat today. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm good, drink a glass of water and walk away. And it was like, it got me in the habit of paying attention to the choices I was making and why and when I was making them. And so it was like, I started to learn what my triggers were. Whenever Addison would come and be like, hey honey, I'm leaving on a trip tomorrow, I'd be like, want to order a pizza? No, I don't. I'm lying. I don't want to order a pizza. Let's not do that. But it was like automatic, and it's amazing how built in those things are. And when you start making yourself write it down, or just track it in the app even, it forces you, and it can be kind of scary. It can be kind of hard to confront some of that stuff. But I think that will push you past your comfort zone, and that will get you to where you want to be, like Dani said, is going with that whole, like, I can do this. I just have to push myself, and it's a decision, So anyway, those are my keep it simple
Well, I think that like that, right? I was trying to load with you guys and I'm going to share it with you in a second. Like just that small tip that she just shared, just that small tweak in my journey. Like I have a picture that I took back then to remind myself to keep it simple of what not simple, overwhelmed, and not in moderation, like Dani said, and what simple, like Liz just shared with you, looks like in a very short period of time. I'm going to show you that to you guys in a second, but I want to give Tarah a chance to share with you guys kind of like what her secret is, just because she is the most closest to where you guys are right now. You know what I mean? She's lost 55 pounds in 7 months. That is insane. Okay. So right now, what I hope you're hearing in that is, why not me? You know what I mean? Like with support, with some of these tools, putting a little into action, staying surrounded, like why not me? So I want you guys to hear from Tarah a couple tips. Maybe you can take a couple nuggets, and then I'm going to work on getting some of, like I downloaded Dani's picture and stuff so I could share it. So Tarah, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, great. And like I said, like Sommer just said, I was in the same shoes as you guys not that long ago. And I actually was just talking about exactly what she was saying with someone at work today. I was walking by her desk and she was like, "You just look so great." And I was like, "Thank you." And it's a girl that I had talked to about potentially being in a challenge group a couple times. And she was like, "I just don't think I could do it." And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, you could." Because 7 months ago, I was in the exact same boat. I hadn't worked out in 8 years and I didn't think I could do it either. But look at me, here I am. I ran a 5K 2 weeks ago. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. I promise. And so that's kind of what I wanted, my little tip that I wanted to talk about, is, you know, finding a workout that you enjoy. And I was lucky. I started on 21 Day Fix and I love Autumn, huge fan. And I really enjoyed the workouts. Now, granted, that cardio kicked my butt for about probably 3 months solid. And it still is hard when I go back and I do it again. And those were maybe my least favorite days of the week. But in general, I thought the workouts were just great. And it was it made me so happy to find something that I could press play. And don't get me wrong, when I was getting out of bed at 5:45 sometimes, I would have rather slept in a little bit more. But when I started doing it, I liked doing it. And it was something that I didn't have to dread. And there's so many different programs that Beachbody offers. So I feel like anybody can find something that is that for them. 21 Day Fix isn't maybe that for everybody. I was talking about this the other day. I'm currently doing 225, and the first 2.5 weeks of it, I struggled hardcore, and I thought this is not the program for me. But now I'm about 8 weeks in, and I love it. So give it a chance. If maybe you find something that's a little harder, I would say give it a little bit, but don't be afraid to switch it up and try something new and find something that you love, because I do think that there is a program out there that everybody can fit into their life and look forward to pressing play. And at the same time, it helped me so much because I would be sweating, take my sweaty selfie, post it in the challenge group. And then later on in the day, when I was looking at that candy bowl, because I work in an office that has stuff with candy bowls everywhere, and the break room has a basket of candy and chips and stuff like that. And I would walk by it all the time. And I think, you know what? I sweated for 30 minutes this morning. Do I want to undo that whole sweating session with, 3 or 4 pieces of candy? No, I don't. So I felt like that's been a big help for me, and something that's really kept me going. And I really I love the sweaty selfie posting, because I think after you do your workout, it makes me feel proud still. 7 months in, every day to take my picture and post it, because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. I am a fit and healthy person, and I can't believe this is me, but it is, and it's awesome. So that's really my one little tip. Find something that you like and keep doing it. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, even on the days where you don't really feel like it. Nobody ever regrets a workout. So get in there and get it done, and you'll feel good.
You know what I love that you brought up is you have a safe place to share your victories. You know what I mean? The sweaty selfies or whatever, to say, yeah, I did that. and not to be nervous about what someone's going to say. Like, do you think people are going to think like I'm full of my, like, I don't want to, like, this is like like an awesome place to be, like, to get high fives. Like, I don't think, I think that was the big change for me. You know what I mean? Not being alone and having someone to high five you. And when you were down, someone to say, take my hand, get up. Do you remember what you're fighting for? To have people speaking that over top of me and keeping me accountable. And that was the big piece. But I don't think, like, I think it's harder to do all of that when you haven't made the decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you, like, you're just like, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, what if, and we're going to take questions and start posting over there if you have any so that we can kind of jump in. But what if you said, you know what? I'm going to just do it Tarah style. I'm going to give it 7 months. I'm going to give it 7 months. Not the 30 days, you guys. What if your mindset was different? What if it was like, I'm going to give it 7 months. I guarantee you in 7 months, you would be at wherever you wanted to be. 7 months. I guarantee it. With that kind, that's all in mentality. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we get a lot, like, if you go in with that mentality, like, dang it, for 7 months, I'm going to stay surrounded. I'm all in. This is what, if I want something different, I'm going to do something different. Chad said that to me from 7,000 miles away. 7 years ago when he finally changed, he only had the courage to say it because he was on the other side of a computer. And he was like, look, you keep complaining and trying, doing the same thing. That's like the definition of insanity, Sommer. I was like, okay, you know what? This can get worse. Tell me where you're going with this. He's like, we always tell everybody if they want something different, you have to do something different. Why don't you take your own advice? I was like, I'm going to talk to you later. You know what I mean? I shut the computer and I thought about it, and he was right. You know what I mean? I was doing the same thing over and over again and thinking I was going to get something different, some other result. And so you guys, I ask you to go in with that mentality. Why is it you're here? What would cause you to say, you know what, I'm going to give it 7 months. I'm going to give it 7 months. What it is, for me, when I looked down at Riley, that was worth 7 months to me. You know what I mean? When Liz looked at Owen and said, buddy, I can't play, I'm out of breath. I think that was worth 7. It was like, that's worth 7 months. I can't look at him in the eye and say that again. I know Chris Webb, Danny's husband, when he saw the disappointment of his nieces and nephews' faces, when they saw him, I think it was with a hangover, as I understand, or the next day, or maybe he was still drinking and they had just come over. I'm not sure, but they didn't look at him the same. Like, he realized, like, wow, what kind of example am I setting right now? Like, that was worth 7 months to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just have to, it only has to be important to you. But what if you gave it 7 months? And most of you on here are like, well, I didn't think I was committing to 7 months. I'm just saying, what if you did? What if you did? You have, like Tarah was saying, like, I was listening to Shalene Johnson talk a couple days ago. You have the world's best trainers at your fingertips with this, with the Beachbody On Demand options. The world's best trainer, and the best program is the one that you'll do. They all work. Dani did Insanity. Tarah's done the 21-day fix. I did P90X. Liz started with T25. Libby Wilson, T25. I mean, the list of things that other people core to force, and like Mary Howard has lost 100 pounds. You know what I mean? We all, like, but you didn't hear, none of us started with the same program. How great. That means they all work. They all work. Right now, Griffin, my 10-year-old, is getting cut with 22-minute hardcore. My 10-year-old, like, he's taking before pictures because he's getting ready for football. He wants to see his muscles growing. That's why he's taking the before and afters. You know what I mean? And it works for a 10-year-old. But you know what the difference between my 10-year-old and myself, my 10-year-old and myself 7 years ago, is I overthought it. Chad Griffin doesn't overthink it. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't, like, look at a pizza and go, what am I gonna do? Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't, like, panic like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he gets up every day and works out before school with Chad. Every day. He's 10. You know what I mean? He doesn't overthink it. He doesn't whine when he comes down the stairs. You know what I mean? He's not exactly, like, bouncing off the walls or anything, but you know what I mean? And when you know, when he does a workout, he doesn't doesn't beat himself up for only being able to do like 2 push-ups. Like we as adults, we like beat ourselves to death over where we think we should be. Griffin's so young and pure that his mindset doesn't even go there. He's like, dude, I did 2 push-ups on my toes. Why for us, we're like, I only did 2, flip them. I shouldn't even do it anymore. I only did 2. Why am I even doing it? I'm not doing it. So that's the difference between 10-year-old Griffin and Sommer 7 years ago. And that's why he's succeeding. He's on week 3. He just wakes up. He doesn't even think about what happened yesterday. He doesn't even think about it. He's like, he said today, like when he was going to have ice cream, he's like, I've been doing so well. I've really been cleaning my eating. I've been working. I'm going to have a bowl of ice cream. Well, after he ate, and it was a moderation bowl of ice cream, after he ate, he wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate that bowl of ice cream. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Like, I'm not even, why would I even work out? Nothing. It was just like, and he went on with this night, you know what I mean? See you in the morning, Dad. Got my workout clothes laid out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we overthink it. We really do. And so I want to ask you guys to think about, just keep it simple like Liz did. Show up with us every day. Have that I'm going to be here for 7 months mindset, you know, and just don't quit. A lot of us quit just too early, like right on the verge. Like, you know how you know you're on the verge? You feel a crap ton of resistance. Like you're like, that's how you know you are about to bust it, because it gets harder. That's how you know. That's when we quit. We're like, oh, I can't do it. That's when you know. That's when you know you're right there. When it's not when it's easy and it's just like, you know, like that, you should think like, wait, why is this too easy? When things are really like, you're like having all this resistance, you're on the verge of something huge. Like your life is about to change. That's how it works. There's books written about it. So you guys, don't quit. That's all I ask you. Don't quit. You're going to hear me say it to you over and over. Just don't quit. Just keep showing up. Give yourself grace. Push the but now button. Don't overthink it, and keep it simple. So you guys, if you have any questions, I want you to post them or raise your hand or open your mic, and this is a safe place. But I'm going to show you the photos real quick. And if anybody has some questions, I would love to hear what you have to say. Okay. Here we go. Here it comes. This is, can you guys see that? That is Dani. Holy moly, Dani. How many pounds is that? What's that?
40.
Yeah. So that's how I met Dani. That's when I met her. You know, that's what she looked like. And that's incredible.
And I'm 43.
What's that?
And I'm 43.
And you're 43. And that's when you go all in like that, that mindset, that all in, I'm going to be here. I refuse to quit. My why is worth fighting for. That's what that ends up looking like. I wanted to show you guys what, I know my desktop looks really, really messy to some people. That's probably driving some people crazy. Like, oh my gosh, Sommer has a messy desktop. Hold on. Where did that go? Let's go here. Give me a second. Here we go. This is what it looks like when you take into account what Liz teaches you to do. It might not look like a big difference to you guys, but the only thing I changed from the left to the right is what Liz told me to change. That's it. I was back here on the left on vacation from Palm Springs. That sounds funny to say I was on vacation from Palm Springs, but this is what, and I was visiting family. I took a picture, like I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And then I picked up Liz's tip to keep it simple, and that was the result of it. I don't weigh, so I don't know what that looks like, but I mean, I don't know what the number is. And Liz, I can't find yours.
I have mine.
Okay, can you share it? Let me stop sharing my screen.
Oh yeah. Okay, hang on. Sorry, mine has a quote in the middle of it. First one I saw, so I just pulled it up. So
there you go. And that's
and the second one is after that same test group that Dani talked about. So I mean, it was awesome. It was an all-in kind of thing. But I did lose 45, 50 pounds just with keeping it simple, and even more like an 80-20. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't even necessarily 100%. I mean, I was committed to the process, but it wasn't. So like, I still saw progress and results even at 80%. You know what I mean? It was like, if I just woke up every day and did, 3 things I knew I could control, I still moved forward.
Yep.
So
yeah, totally. I have, and I'm going to let you go after I show you guys this and if you can see it. But I have a picture of what my not all in looked like, but when Chad got off that plane. Well, let me see if I can find it so you guys can get a visual.
Hang on, I'm trying to stop screen sharing.
And
Hang on.
I don't know. It should be right at the top. It should say stop sharing your screen.
Okay, I'm going to figure this out, I promise. Hang on a second. How do I?
View options.
It's like all frozen now.
Seriously?
It's okay. We can go from here. We can leave it with that. You just see Liz's picture. But you guys, I can't see the chat right now. Let's see. It says I'm viewing options, exit full screen, request, remote control. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I've never had that happen before. But you guys, I'm going to let you go. What I want you to do from today on, I want you to stay surrounded in the group, okay? I want you to make sure that every day you set aside time to plug into the group. We're going to give you tips. You're going to see recipes. You're going to see, you're going to see ideas for your food, what you can eat, some things you ask questions. That is your group. Your group, your safe place, your place to share when you're struggling. Don't be an island. Don't disappear. We can't read your mind. We can't. And we can only help you if you meet us right in that group. So that is what I'm going to ask you to do more than anything is to stay connected, to stay surrounded, and make sure that you're sharing with us all along the way what you're feeling, what you're thinking, your victories, your struggles. You have got to communicate with us. I promise you, this is a place where you're going to meet people that have been in your shoes. They might be just a couple months ahead of you. They might be 4 years like Dani ahead of you, or just 2 days. They might have tripped on the same obstacle you're tripping on, and someone's going to be there to walk you through it, to cheer you through it, to inspire you, to encourage you, to lift you up, but not if you don't show up. Okay, not if you don't show up. So take some time this weekend to think about why you're willing to make these changes, while you're willing to carve out 30 extra minutes to push play and to get that shake in, and then sit down and take some time to get your house stocked with fresh foods, and keep it simple and just make sure the house is ready for Monday. Don't overthink it. And get out of your house any things that are like just way too tempting right now. Like if the Oreos talk to you, like they talk to me, they're just like, now I can have them in the house. But 7 years ago, Sommer could not have ice cream, Oreos, pizza, wine, chips, and salsa. I mean, I could go on. Liz knows I couldn't, like that stuff had to go. And Liz, if you have it in your house, don't ask me to come over. That was Sommer 7 years ago. I can't do it. Too much stress. I can't. I will stress eat. I'm an emotional eater. So, know those things, and we're going to kind of remind you over the weekend to do that. We're going to cue you to do those things. So stay connected, you guys. And we just are so thankful that you at least gave us a chance to share our journey and the recipe that has helped us so much, and that you're willing to kind of take down your walls and share your journey with us. I promise you, if you show up, this is going to be a game changer the way it has changed our life. And it's not just about a number on the scale. It's so much bigger than that. So as long as you don't have any questions, I'm going to let you guys go, because sleep is just as important as the nutrition. So most of you probably need to, get some sleep. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.